Hello, my name is Zach Neal with Potomac Custom Remodeling. Oh, let me just make sure everything's good. Oh, okay. Hello, my name is Zach Neal with Potomac Custom Remodeling. I'm here to video myself removing 2 shingles for identification. Hi, Abigail. What I'm going to do today is kind of like how we discussed in our email. I'm going to remove 1 shingle for the ITEL testing that you requested. I'm also going to remove 1 shingle as well for our own NTS testing, like I talked about in the email with you, mostly just to show the difference in the reports as far as showing the amount of information that is shared in both reports, but also just to understand what we're dealing with as far as a compatibility issue. The reason I also want to video this is to show the pliability and the overall non-repairable nature of this roof. As you can see, this is just one area of the roof, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damaged shingles just in this one area. I mean, that is not good, right? Some missing shingles already. As you can see, these shingles are just breaking at the seam. But again, I'm going to be taking shingles just from this little area right here. Reason being is because you can't really see it from the ground, and this was requested by the homeowner. But nonetheless, it's about 41, 42 degrees right now here at the site of the home. So I will go ahead and begin by removing the 2 shingles needed for identification and showing the concerns of the shingles around it as far as any repairability concerns. So I'm going to try and set my phone up in a proper area for you to see me. I might have to set it down here just because of the steepness of the roof. The roof's just a little too steep for me to set it somewhere like that. Yeah, maybe I can set it up on the ridge here. Let me just make sure. Okay, I mean, that's probably as good as we're gonna get it. Let me try and get this a little bit better. Ah, that's better. Okay. All right. So, as you can see, not the greatest granules on this roof right now, which again is a sign that the roof is not going to withstand a repair. But nonetheless, we'll go ahead and continue. So Abigail, I hope you can see me here. I got a roof snake here. I'm going to go ahead and start by unsealing. I'm going to take this shingle and this shingle. They're right next to each other, and I'll replace it with the 2 shingles I brought. Tried to get as close to the color as I possibly could. But I'm going to start by unsealing the shingle. Okay. Okay, they are unsealed. Again, not sealed too great to begin with, but okay. Okay. Well, that one just pulled right through the nail, so it's already not a good sign. Let me just make sure I get all my stuff in the right area here. Trying to be as careful as possible. The nail pulled right through the shingle, which again is not a good sign for repairability. Nail number 1. Again, massive tearing. Extreme tearing of these nail holes, leaving extreme tears and holes in the shingle. Again, I'm trying to be as careful as possible when conducting this repair, but unfortunately, it's just not holding up as well as I would like it to. Again, more tearing along the nail hole. And again, more tearing along the nail hole and nail pull-throughs on the shingle itself, which again is a sign that this shingle is not repairable. Can't even get the nails out without damaging the shingle. Another nail pull-through. Every nail so far that I have removed has pulled right through the shingle, as well as torn the nail hole that it was in. This is not a good sign. Unseal this one so I can see the nails. Again, trying to be as gentle and as careful as possible. Again, another massive tear right at the nail hole. I'll show all this on video just to make sure that we're all seeing the same thing. Again, a massive tear. Another massive tear along the nail hole. This is not good. This nail's already pulled through when I was messing with the other nail. Trying to be as gentle as possible, but this nail is not cooperating. There she goes. Again, this nail pulled right through the shingle, as well as caused an extreme tear right on the shingle edge. And again, another nail pull through. There we go. This shingle should now come out. Well, looks like we got one more nail over here. Apologies, I'm trying to be as careful as possible. These nails, when they pull right through the shingle like this, it's very hard to get them after the fact because it's more difficult to see them. I apologize, give me 1 second here. The granules are absolutely slipping all over the place due to the repair being done. The granules on these shingles are just falling right off, and it's making this valley extremely slippery, making it more difficult for me to be stationary when getting this nail. There we go. Okay. That should be the first shingle. Okay. There she is. Now, before I remove the last one, I want to show a couple things here. So, as you can see on the back, this cellophane is blank, which is very common with the old style Atlas shingles. The cellophane on old Atlas shingles was blank. They didn't have any Atlas marking or letterheading on them, unfortunately. But as you can see, this is a blank cellophane, okay? Which leads me to believe this is an Atlas shingle, as well as the fact that we have done probably 7 or 8 roofs in this neighborhood already, and we've already identified the shingle multiple times for other roofings or for other roofs in this neighborhood, and they've came back as an old Atlas shingle. And that is now confirmed with the blank cellophane on the back. As we already discussed, I will be sending this to ITEL and NTS for identification, but I do want to show you just a couple concerns. Actually, I'll pull the second one before we go over the concerns. And I'll lay these over here. Let me pull the second one out first before we go over the repairability concerns. My goodness. These loose granules make it very difficult to do this. Another pull through. This should be a very good angle of the fact that these nails pull right through. And again, we've got some tearing along the shingle now. It's actually causing these shingles to crease and tear. And I don't know if you can see this right here. We're now starting, because of the repair, hopefully it'll focus up. You can see we're starting to see some frayed fiberglass threading. And the reason we're seeing that is because of this repair. Now, when we start to see fiberglass threading, that leads me to believe that the water shedding capabilities of these shingles is now being diminished. As the fiberglass threads are now showing, what can happen is the water can now get into these fiberglass threads and cause the shingle to be very brittle, can cause them to break and snap and crack and be more susceptible to damage. But also, it allows water to get underneath here into these nail holes, which is how leaks occur. Again, we have another nail pull through there. Another nail pull through here, and it has broken a very large hole through the shingle again. And I'm trying to be as careful as possible, but with the way these shingles are and the nails just pulling right through, being very brittle, it makes it very difficult to complete this repair. Very, very difficult. Again, major tearing. This is getting borderline ridiculous. I almost don't even want to continue, but that should be enough to, well, we got one more. Okie dokie, and there's that. So this shingle is now going to come right on out. I'm going to set this shingle over here. Okay, let me show you the area that I've been working in first to show you the concerns I have here. So, here's the area where I removed the 2 shingles. Now, as you can see, couple issues. First off, you can see here, the tar paper has actually incurred a hole now. Now that'll be covered up, so that might not be a huge issue. However, my huge issue comes right here. During the removal of this nail for the first shingle we had to replace, we have now shown we have a tear here, a large tear. One good gust of wind, this shingle will be gone. You can see that shingle has torn because of this repair. Okay? The removal of those shingles. Other thing I want to show you. As you can see, all these nail holes, they're all have excessive tearing around them. Let me try. You can also see a lot of fiberglass threads everywhere. So this shingle right here you can see this hole has a large tear around it. I wish there was a better way. If I had 3 hands, this would be extremely easy to show you. Unfortunately, I don't. Let me try and keep you right there. So lift that. As you can see, that is a huge downward tear right there. See that? A huge tear from replacing the nails. And that is happening in multiple places on this roof, or multiple places in this repair cycle right here. This is my major concern. This tear right here, because that's going to happen to the 15 or odd shingles that are set to be replaced. That's going to happen to every single one because of the lack of pliability that these shingles have. And again, we wouldn't have to do anything to this roof if there wasn't wind damage that was assessed. As you can see here, here's a piece of shingle that has fallen off and torn off, right? We have pieces of shingle right here, fiberglass threads showing everywhere. Now, here's one of my other concerns, the 2 shingles we've removed. Okay, obviously we're replacing these 2 shingles, which is fine, but again, as you can see right there, huge hole. This one is not nearly as bad as the other one. Huge tear. That's just showing you the lack of pliability these shingles have. Not to mention these creases that are starting to form on these shingles, but not just those shingles. These shingles here, look at this one. Let me safely get up here. Look at this shingle right here. You can see the crease right there, starting to form right along that edge. You lift that up, it bends right there at that crease. Same thing. Look at this one's probably even worse. right up there above that elevated part. You can see it right there in that crease line. Look, that's creased. Same thing over here. That's also creased right in that line there. That's creased. So not only do we have creasing on all these shingles surrounding where the repair is, we have major tears. We have the fact that the shingle is no longer manufactured and does not have a compatible alternative. As you can see again, here's a blank cellophane strip showing that this is indeed an Atlas product. But again, we'll go ahead and continue this repair, and we'll go ahead and put the 2 new shingles back into place of the old ones. Like I said, I'll do this all on video. This is also going to show you the size difference. Oh, we got one of the caps fell off the nail. This is also going to show you the size difference in the shingles. This shingle that I'm putting back in, it is longer, as there is no laminate architectural shingle with the same measurements as this one, which again would show that there's no similar product, because you cannot trim a shingle height. You cannot do it. No manufacturer allows it. So again, not only is the shingle longer, but let's go ahead and get it into place as best we can. Okay. So again, we're just creasing these shingles even more, which is already a problem. But again, here we go. So this shingle that is already on the roof has a 5-inch weather reveal. This shingle right here, that's about 1/3 of an inch, or 3/8 of an inch, sorry. About 3 to 4/8 of an inch longer. As you can see, there's also some overlap there, which is now going to be more of a concern for this wind damage, because again, I cannot trim this off. If I trim this off, these appliques here, the appliques, which is what gives this shingle the structural integrity that it needs, if I trim that, these will no longer be sealed, because the sealant strips on these runs right here and right here. So there's one in the middle and there's one right here. If I trim this off, I'm going to be trimming that sealant strip off of every single one of these appliques, which means these will now be unsealed until right here, which means there's going to be about 2 inches or so of unsealed applique, which then means these are just going to blow up and flip up just like that, and they're going to become damaged as well, which is why we're not allowed to trim this off, which shows you that this cannot be done, because this is not a similar shingle. This is not similar. If it were similar or compatible, right, because we have to use compatible materials per code R904.2, like I've already sent to you, this is not compatible. This is going to cause some severe issues. As you can see, look, right under here. I'm going to turn this video upside down. Look. Well, even when we put a new shingle in here, right? Look, here's a shingle on top of a shingle. Look at that gap. That gap right there. There's going to be wind able to filter underneath this shingle and then pick this shingle up. And then this repair is going to be pointless. Okay? Because again, we're leaving about 1/8 of an inch, 2/8 of an inch gap between the 2 shingles, because it's overexposed, because it's too long height-wise, which then is going to cause wind to get underneath this and lift it up, which again will just damage these shingles again. Which is exactly why I have already expressed the fact that this roof is not comparable and the shingle has no alternative. But I digress. We will go ahead. There we go. Here's my nails. I'm gonna grab my phone. Actually, sorry, I gotta do the bottom one first. Okay. That's as best as I can get it. As best as I can get it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put 4 new nails in this. It's actually got to come down just a little bit. There we go. And last nail. There we go. So there's the first row of nails in that shingle. We'll go ahead and grab this other shingle here. And again, when we go ahead and put this up into place, again, we're going to see a large discrepancy. A very large discrepancy in the exposure here. Again, about 3/8 of an inch. Plus, not to mention, we're seeing right here, because of the overlap and because it's overexposed, there's a huge area right here where wind can just get underneath, because that shingle's laying flat and I can fit my whole finger underneath it and it doesn't lift it. Right? See? Barely lifts it. Fingertip. All that's doing is allowing wind to just drive up there and damage the rest of this roofing system. Sorry, I don't know why it paused, but regardless, this shingle here is about 3/8 to 5/8 of an inch bigger than the shingle currently on the roof. Any Atlas shingle, which would be a shingle we would have to use, because again, if we're going to be using compatible materials like code states, this isn't a code upgrade, this is just code compliance, making sure we're compliant with code, because we have to be, right? In order to be compliant with code, we have to use compatible materials, which at the very least means we need to use shingles from the same manufacturer. And Atlas, which is the maker of this shingle, doesn't make any shingles that have less than a 6-inch weather reveal, which means the Atlas shingles are going to be a full inch further down than this shingle. And Atlas, they already state that we can't use their new shingles to repair with their old shingles. So their manufacturer's instructions, which is R904.1, that already states we can't do this. So again, this is what that looks like. It is absolutely dreadful. There are tears and creasing and just overall terrible conditions on this roof. And again, here are the shingles that will be getting sent out for identification. Like I said, I will be sending one to ITEL for you, Abigail. The other one will be going to NTS, and I will be sending both of these reports to you. I'll also be sending you this video to show you the lack of repairability on this roof, just to cover all bases. So again, my name is Zach Neal. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to getting everything to you. Bye-bye.